according to Ed Boon, Onaga in Mortal Kombat 1 was just never the plan. Never in the cards. So he says, yo, what's up? It's your boy Dynasty back again with another Mortal Kombat 1 MK1 video because the good guys over at What Culture Gaming actually posted a couple hours ago a 10-15 minute interview with the co-creator of Mortal Kombat. Check this guy out. He looks like he's on fire. Toasty. They had an interview with Ed Boon where they asked him a bunch of things. A bunch of stuff was discussed, but two things of notes I want to talk about here today. The first one is Onaga. Many, including myself, most of you guys thought that the big bad of Mortal Kombat 1 would probably be Onaga. The red portals in the sky and the announcement trailer, the fact that everyone's been saying that MK1 is meant to be a love letter to the 3D era, rumors of a Damashi, Shijinko, everything was kind of just making sense for Onaga to be the big bad, and if not in this game as the main big bad, at the end be set up for at least the next game as that game's big bad. And though again, we still haven't seen the expansion DLC, which could very well set up Onaga as the big bad for the next game, especially after watching Reiko's ladder ending, which apparently is canon, according to story writer Dominic C. and Solo. If you missed that video, I have a card on the screen right now. Ed Boon in this interview is asked about, in particular, the Dragon King, and even referenced Reiko's ending. The interviewer brings up Reiko's ending directly and is like, yo, what are you doing with this? What's up with Onaga? And Boon just flat out says, like, yeah, you know, we kind of wanted to bring back the Deadly Alliance. Not really Onaga. And I'm not sure if I believe him or not. I don't know. I guess they really, from the jump, were just not looking forward to bringing back the Dragon King, despite the army and everything in between. So I guess MK13-2 is 110% destined for Onaga, because this one apparently never was in the cards. And also, Boon is asked about a Shaolin Monks HD remake or remaster, and I think the response is what you're expecting, but still, it just gets me hyped to know that the whole studio, and Boon included, wants to get that done. So, before we break all this stuff down, if you want to see the full interview, it'll be linked down below, but if you could, take a second, drop a like on the video. I want to say thank you for all the recent love and support on the MK1 content. Without you, I'm nothing. You guys are the support, because there's no machine behind me. So with that said, let us watch this interview, or at least this clip, from What Culture Gaming. Again, the full thing linked down below. The first question is in regards to Shaolin Monks, and then things get nice and spicy and juicy about Onaga shortly after that. So here is the first question about Shaolin Monks.
Well, it is absolutely something that we've talked about doing. When you think about it though, I think Shaolin Monks was, God, what year was it? 2006 or something, or 2007? So it was a long time ago, and the kind of gaming landscape has changed quite a bit. So I'm a little concerned over just doing a remaster and not adding something new like online co-op play, or enhancing the cutscenes and all that stuff. But there is an unmade follow-up to Shaolin Monks that needs to be made, and we've currently been so busy with our Mortal Kombat 1 and before that Mortal Kombat 11 that it's been a little tougher to give that traction. But it isn't by any means because of a lack of interest or motivation from our part. It's resources, and it's we just got to figure out how to do it.
So there you go. It's just not been something in the cards because of resources, time, and they just don't have a billion hands like Goro. There's only so much they could do, and it just sucks because, you know, John Tobias, I think, is back working at WB in some, like, Southern California, San Diego studio, and it's like, you would think that they'd have a studio dedicated to, like, Mortal Kombat adventure games. Then you'd have another studio dedicated to Mortal Kombat fighting games, and then, like that, you could have, like, biannual releases of, you know, story mode game, and then a couple years after that, the fighting game, and it would be a nice little overlap between the two. It'd be perfect, and it's not like WB doesn't have enough money to do things like that. It's not like this game would not potentially sell, because I think we all want to see Mortal Kombat outside of just your typical 2D fighting game. So, never say never. I'm glad to know the studio is dying and desperate to do something different. Every one of these interviews that Boon's been doing for years now, he always mentions that he's pretty much not fed up with the idea of continuing fighting games, but it'd be a breath of fresh air to do something different. He's open to the challenge of doing something different. So I'm hoping that one day, especially because, again, I'm sure Boon's retiring in the next maybe 5 to 10 years. It would be nice to get an adventure game from Boon one last time. And then, you know, the cast-off would be, I guess, MK13 with the Dragon King. Yeah, the Dragon King. So listening to him talk about Shaolin Monks HD Remaster Remake with more features got me excited. Every time he talks about that, it gets me super excited. I know you guys are probably stoked for that as well. Now, here's where things get interesting. Onaga. The interviewer asks Boon, yo, Onaga's in the ending. Any plans in the future as DLC for Onaga? The stories seem to be setting up for Onaga. What's going off Onaga in Liu Kang's new era? And this is the response we got from Boon right here.
Well, the reintroduction of like Onaga, it certainly was not something that was our end game goal. It was more so we just wanted to make a whole bunch of references to some of our previous games. We had, you know, Shang Tsung and Quan Chi together was kind of like a Deadly Alliance reference.
Yes.
We had references to the you know, a number of those the 3D
Tower
games that we made, whether it's, and we brought back a number of
Pyramid
3D characters, Li Mei and Havoc and Astra. So a lot of it was more like of a nostalgic kind of look back and trying to reference those games. And but we weren't like, our goal wasn't like, let's get our way to Onaga.
Right.
So that's not necessarily the best response at all. Saying that this game was dedicated to just callbacks to everybody, references to everybody, and not necessarily setting up for Onaga, kind of scares me a little bit. Makes me think that the next game won't have Onaga as the big bad. And I swear, if we never see Onaga again, I just don't even know at this point what to do. I wish Boon would have been like, never say never in the future, maybe, but nothing. Nothing. Just said, yeah, Onaga, just like everything else from previous Mortal Kombat games, just something we want to reference. I hope that doesn't mean that Onaga won't be the big bad of the next game. I think he's going to be. I think he has to be with us now, knowing that Onaga is alive and well, and Reiko is sacrificing himself to domesticate Onaga in his ending. General Shao is trying to domesticate with Reiko Onaga. If that is indeed canon, like Dominic Ciancielo is now saying, the endings are canon, we have to just eventually deal with that, right? We can't just have the Dragon King chilling in a cave being caged up forever. So I wouldn't think too much of what was said by Boon in regards to it being a negative statement, but I wish he could have teased something. But I guess he just doesn't want to get our hopes up and thinking that the DLC will probably feature Onaga. And as you guys do know, the DLC, at least one of the expansions, already got leaked. If you missed that video, a card on the screen. And Onaga is nowhere mentioned at all. But Orin from Armageddon is, which is cool. So we'll see what happens. But guys, that is all I got for y'all today. Again, the full interview will be linked down below. It's like 10 minutes long. They talk about a lot of things in regards to Mortal Kombat 1, MK1. I highly suggest going and checking it out. But those two things of note in particular, the Shaolin Monks idea, the remake, the remaster, I want to see it so bad. And being asked in particular about like the Dragon King, where he stands right now, what the plan was for the Dragon King going into this game. And Boon just being like, yeah, you know, we just referenced them. Like everything else is kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. Cross your fingers for MK13, I suppose. But of course, if you guys enjoyed the video, take a second, triple like on it. Subscribe to some more MK1, MK content like this on the channel. Till next time, for your host, Boon Dynasty. You guys please take care, stay safe, I love you. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Slipping on it, crack, but I'm not.